For the 49th year, the world's greatest cars and drivers have gathered in Central Florida to challenge Sebring in the world's greatest sports car endurance challenge. But this year, they do so with a heavy heart. Last night, while final preparations were going on for this race, came word that Bob Wollek, a 7-time Porsche Cup winner and one of the greatest drivers ever, was killed, not in a car, but while riding his beloved bicycle back to his hotel here in Sebring, Florida. Over a 3-decade career, Bob Wollek won every race that matters to a sports car driver, except the one that matters most to a Frenchman, the overall at Le Mans. Still, Bob won plenty, including 4 overalls at Daytona and a 1985 victory here at Sebring in one of the oddest driver pairings ever with A.J. Foyt. Every June, Bob Wollek would ride his bicycle from his home in Strasbourg to Le Mans. He leaves a wife and a world of friends. We dedicate this broadcast to the memory of Bob Wollek. Starting on pole will be Frank Biela, sharing his Infineon Audi R8 with Emanuele Pirro and Tom Christensen, as mentioned earlier, going for his 3rd in the row. Their teammates, Ronaldo Capello, Michele Alboreto, and Laurent Aiello, will be alongside. Then the 2 customer Audis, Andy Wallace starting the champion machine, Stefan Johansson in the Gulf Oil Audi. On row 3 will be John Field, sharing with Duncan Dayton and Rick Sutherland in a Lola with Judd V10 power, alongside the first of the beautiful new LMP07s from the Panoz stable in the hands of David Brabham. On row 5 will be Olivier Gavin, driving for Franz Conrad and Terry Porcheller in that beautiful Celine S7R. That's the pole-sitting car in the GTS class. On row 7, Sasha Maassen in the pole-sitting Porsche GT3 RS, alongside Randy Pobst in the 2nd Alex Job racing car. On row 8, JJ Leto in that new V8 BMW M3, alongside the straight 6 version of the car in the hands of Bill Arberlin. The field is set, and now one of the most familiar vistas in all of motorsports. The start-finish at Sebring. We're underway, and the Audis surge out front. Turn 1. Hansta calls this one of the most difficult corners in all of worldwide racing. Very fast, very bumpy, and then narrowing down to just 2 lanes right here.
And of course, it is blind at the exit, so it's not uncommon to drive past the apex and there's a car spun off in the dirt or at the exit. Great onboard shots. This is the champion car. That is Andy Wallace on the run down to the hairpin.
He and his partner Dorsey Schrader have been absolutely walking on air since they took over that car. They say it is an absolute dream to drive in competition.
You can see the John Field car up to 4th, so Audi's 1, 2, 3. There's the GTS leading Celine, the Corvette, very close behind.
Remarkable turnaround for this Celine. They had so many problems in the Rolex 24 at Daytona, then came out and won round 2 of the Grand American Road Racing season at Homestead. And now here they are. This is a different car, the first of the true customer chassis, and it has been absolutely blinding around Sebring. But there is 12 long hours of racing ahead. Now here's the bulk of the GT field. Saw the 2 Porsches go by, followed by that brilliant blue and white number 42 4-liter V8 BMW M3. Back to the point, coming down Alec Ullman straight into the long turn 17 sunset. Oh, several cars involved down in the hairpin.
That looks like it might have been a bit of a tap, and I think it might have been that Corvette, or excuse me, there it is here. It's a move up the inside, and it is a Viper, the number 45 car, and it definitely is a tap. Bit of an optimistic move so early in this 12-hour race.
There's that beautiful green Courage C40 Peugeot. Henri Pescarolo, a 4-time Le Mans winner and one of the great names in French motorsports. This is his team, and he serves as the team manager. Looking at a great battle here in the LMP 900 class. That's John Field from Dublin, Ohio, in that Lola with the Judd V10, being pressed terribly hard by the new Riley and Scott Mark IIIC. That's Butch Leitzinger from State College, Pennsylvania, with a big 6-liter Ford V8 behind his head.
There is the Panoz. They only had 1 of those cars at Texas, and I think they surprised everyone at Texas. The car had debuted at the finale last year in Adelaide, Australia, and had really struggled. I think they surprised some folks at Texas, but I think they've surprised everyone with their lack of speed here at Sebring. And you can see Andy Wallace now has fallen back into the clutches of this Johansson car. So Andy Wallace has lost touch with the 2 factory cars. You can see them just up the road a few seconds. But here comes the Johansson car, putting some pressure on Andy Wallace.
That is Stefan Johansson behind the wheel, a 2-time winner here at Sebring. Now this could be interesting. Here we go, a GT class Porsche being chased by the pole-sitting car in GTS, being chased by the second place car in the LMP 900 class. Excuse me, Capello is now the race leader. That's the leading Audi with the yellow highlights. Capello has broken away a bit.
There is the number 5 Panoz in the pit lane, and that is a little early for a scheduled stop. Oh, no, he's heading behind the wall.
Oh, that is bad news for the Panoz team. The LMP 07, as the car is called, has had a pretty difficult gestation. Had some problem with chassis flex. The engine's not where they want it to be yet, and it looks like one of their entries has gone behind the wall. David Brabham pitting from 8th place.
Oh, we've got fuel everywhere, and a bit of a problem, but now David Brabham is climbing out of the car, so we've got drama down here. David Brabham has jumped out of the car. When they pulled the fuel hose out, fuel went absolutely everywhere. They're now wiping it off the cockpit. This is obviously going to leave them, lose them quite a bit of time.
And you can see that shot shows it, how far the fueler has to lean over, and that looks like it was just a malfunction.
The valve never closed.
Yeah, that was a malfunction with the fueling unit itself.
Out of the car is being pulled back into the pit. There's chaos down here. I think the situation was, as you said, that there's fuel in the cockpit. David Brabham himself pulling the car back, and we'll get in there. David Brabham now looking at his backside, which has got fuel all over it.
Here's the number 42 BMW. This is the V8 car, the class leader in GT. JJ Leto of Finland climbs out, pitting from 10th spot in the overall.
Now this is the new V8 engine designed by BMW, and interestingly, after just an hour it's stopping. We expect those Porsches to go an hour and 20 minutes, so this could be something that will hurt this BMW. Their gas mileage does not look as good as the Porsche.
Oh boy.
Jan Magnussen in the Panoz, firing it up and heading off again. This is the car where they had the fuel spill problem earlier.
Of course, they lost about 4 laps on that whole fuel debacle.
Wow, we have a driver change going on in one of the Corvettes. You see they hang the steering wheel from the top of the roll cage. Well, the driver works his way in, and it looks like they're having problems there.
This is a typical problem you get when it's hot and it's humid. Of course, the fuel can have a little vaporization and boil anywhere along its path line. You get fuel pumps cavitating. Now, this is exactly what any team does not want. Both cars in the pits at the same time when one of them's got a problem.
There he goes.
Well, big problem on the number 2 machine. They cannot get the left rear wheel nut on. It was cross-threaded or something, and they struggled for several seconds there trying to get the wheel threaded up. And meanwhile, Christensen's trying to get out of here. The number 1 car is in. There's going to be a driver change there. It's going to be Capello turning it over to Michele Alboreto, and the number 2 car where Christensen has stalled. They've had problems getting the car out of the pits in recent events.
And the 1 car there actually briefly put a lap on its team car. The number 2 car had been in the pit lane so long, the number 1 car passed by it, did put a lap on it for a short time there, so the number 2 car now well behind the number 1 car. Well, welcome back to Sebring. What a fantastic battle that has developed here in the GT class. This is the battle for the lead in GT. The number 42 BMW has caught the number 23 Porsche.
Look at this. This is what racing's all about. Some decent competition going on here.
What I've loved about this battle over the years between these 911s and these M3s, that these cars are so different. Look at this.
Battle for the lead in the GT class. Mueller gets the inside line, drives Mueller off the point, takes over the position. We've got a problem here. Problems for Franz Conrad in the Saleen. We'll have to take a look at what happened. Heavy bodywork damage to the rear of the GTS class frontrunner. Let's take another look.
I was going to say, it didn't look like there'd been any contact with that. Well, it's already loose there.
Yeah, we're just running around the back of the car, and it appears that the whole of the rear end you can see is being ripped off. I don't quite know why this has happened.
And meanwhile, Andrew, here comes the new class leader in GTS, Kelly Collins, at the wheel of that Corvette C5R, 7th in the overall, 1st in GTS.
Just shows how competitive this is. I mean, that Saleem's only got to get in the pits for a few seconds and they lose the lead. I mean, that's good motor racing.
Oh boy, look at the fluid coming out off the front of the car. There's some fluid on the front of that car, so that car looks like it's done.
It's the number 10 BMW, one of the prototype technology group cars. Bill Auberland shown at the wheel.
I think that's thrown a hose. That looks like steam. It is steam, so it's thrown a hose, boiled up.
Problems for the number 52 Porsche. That's Andrew Bagnall sharing with Tony Burgess and Phil Collins.
Oh boy.
See, actually, look, do you see the way that wheel suddenly snapped forward there? he's got some quite serious damage.
Yeah, that 52 car did hit the pit wall. It hit the pit wall right in front of its own pit. I think there's probably suspension damage. It drove off crab-like down the pit lane. Of course, it's down the pit straight, I should say. He's had to do one complete lap.
Overall race leader, Kelly Alvaretto, in the second portion of his, what is thus far a double stint. Just behind him, the sister car, in the hands of Tom Christensen.
Christensen is really, you know, I think Christensen in a way has filled in the gap left by Alan McNish. I mean, he literally did fill the seat, but Christensen is one of these guys that is really super quick, the way McNish was, and you can see he's closed this gap up, and he really was the man at Texas. There's no question about it.
It's getting interesting, isn't it? You know, Hans Schuck is the only driver in this race who has actually won this race 3 times, so if Christensen can handle that today...
There you go.
Close enough to take the blue flag right out of that corner worker's hand.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there it was, Alvaretto getting hung up a little bit behind the BMW in traffic, and Christensen getting a nice run at him, going out into a very dirty part of the racetrack to make that pass, but making it nonetheless. And the 37 car, maybe he did not go off the road because he made a mistake. He might have gone off the road because he had some kind of problem. Maybe he has a tire going down. But John Field is moving very slowly.
Well, the Mark III Riley and Scott is in. AFR has jumped in. I think they're doing a change to the setup on the car. They're using this as a test session. The fuel has gone in. They've changed tires, and now they're making a rear shock adjustment. So we talked about them learning the car. They're definitely doing that through the 12 hours. They're not too worried about their overall position.
Now down in the BMW pits, the 43 car is in, and there's a lot of oil spread around the engine bay.
Well, absolutely right. There is oil everywhere. It's been over the screen. Frederick Ekblom has just climbed out of the car. Dirk Muller has got in. But this looks as if it could be a major problem. They did blow a motor on Thursday, and while the brand new V8 seems to be absolutely reliable, this 6 is causing some problems here.
Pirro is in, and there was a big consultation going on. This car has developed a misfire over the last couple of laps, and I think this is the first time, other than at Le Mans when they had the rear end changes, that we've had to see this Audi team even touch one of these A8s in competition. They're over on the right-hand side. The mechanic is working down in the cockpit now to try and reconnect this black box.
You see the number 1 car, which now in the hands of Laurent Aiello takes over the race lead, working traffic, bounding off the curbs. Meanwhile, the engine has fired for Pirro.
So all that hard work that Tom Christensen did to get that car up into the lead, all those chances that he took in traffic, now this car has slipped back into second position.
And now, of course, this Corvette sitting second in class. Dave Burns, you're there. How's that stop going?
In fact, they are. Remember, they had earlier problems with the starter, and they had to freeze it up. And now they're going in. Dave Albright is going in with a rod to whack the solenoid.
And I'll tell you what, after less than halfway through this race, they are in major league trouble if they can't fire the thing up easier than that.
Excuse me, there's the number 4, and they have got a big sheet of plastic of some sort, and that is completely obscuring at least the left front wheel brake duct, if not a part of the engine cooling, and that's a major concern, I would think. Welcome back to Sebring, and you are looking at the battle for the lead in GTS. It is just that close, well under a second here at the Superflow 12 Hours of Sebring. That last stop to remove the plastic wrapped around the radiator and brake ducts on the number 4 Corvette of Kelly Collins has allowed Terry Borchler in that beautiful Celine to close right up, and this is in fact a battle for position. Looks down the inside, Borchler does. They are door to door, couldn't quite get it done, and now here comes your overall race leader in the mix. Goes by Borchler, rips by Collins as well.
Yikes. That was a dodgy move. I think that was a pretty brave move. I don't know if he knew they were still dicing for the lead. That's what the guy in the Audi wouldn't have known that. He just thought it was just 2 guys generally together.
And that's the risk you take here in these long-distance races. Do you trust the man you're passing and the man that's trying to pass you? And here's the hairpin.
Look how close he is this time. And we got so close. Here he goes. He's alongside. Got him. Problem for that beautiful Courage powered by Peugeot, and obviously some serious problems developing there. Jean-Christophe Bouillon, the driver of that car, and obviously was aware of what was happening and just pulled it off. That looks fairly terminal. On board with Ronaldo Capello as he is chasing Guy Smith in the Johansson Racing Golf. Audi R8 now. The problem is, we've been following the problems with mirrors on these cars, kind of making light of it, although there is some concern. Well, apparently now there is some concern from Professional Sports Car Racing, sanctioning body of the American Le Mans Series. Like right here, he can't look in his mirror to see if he's cleared that car to be able to move over to take a different line. I mean, it affects overtaking as well.
Now look, he won't know that the silver car, number 2 car's right behind him. Guy hasn't probably got a clue.
There's the number 1 of Alboreto. Now, he did not go out long ago, and you know why he's coming in? Mirror. There it is. There's the mirror. There's the replacement. It has come to roost, folks.
In a way, to me, that's rather naive, because these guys should have done this before. They've now been called up, and he's going to penalize them.
I hope they have plenty of rear view mirrors, because if they call him in, they're going to call Johansson in, they're going to call the champion car in. They're going to call everybody in.
And the margin between Michele Alboreto, the number 1 factory Audi, and Guy Smith in the number 18 Golf Audi, 6.3 seconds, and there it is. Number 1 in stop-and-go penalty for exceeding the pit speed limit. So he is now officially at this point.
I think there's the
working the limiter. There's your new leader. Guy Smith in the 18 Golf Johansson Racing Audi R8 has just picked up the lead. And the number 1 machine of Alboreto has not even made it to the pit stall yet. That gives you an idea of just how slow that approach is. Here we go. Guy Smith, the new leader, down into the pit.
I think they're going to go, yes they are, they're going to go for rotor change and obviously pad change at the same time. Uh-oh, it's a bit of a struggle.
Nor do they
His
have
front left one doesn't want to come off. Look.
Yeah, Alan, they don't have the trick tools that the Audi factory team had.
And here we go. There's the number 1 machine, not only in the lead, but a lap up now with the number 2 car, a scant 3-4 seconds behind. I mean, it's that close.
Yes, it's really sad. They can't start the car. Guy Smith's in there. He's pressing the button. They've got something wrong with the starter.
I mean, look at this, side by side. Christensen went for it, and Alboreto defending. I don't know whether he really intended to that abruptly, but they were working some traffic. But again, very close action, a very close call as they went by the Banana Joe's Lola Judd.
Now, Tom Christensen, remember, is trying to be the only driver in the history of this event to win it 3 times in a row in his only 3 starts. No one ever did that.
The last lap by Alboreto and by Christensen, a 1/10 of a second difference. So Alboreto has responded, but he got by him. Christensen has picked up the lead, got around Alboreto, going in to that absolutely daunting and amazing turn 1 here.
So have a look at this replay here. This is great. The Audi mechanics have now pushed the pads back, but watch them coordinate this. Look, mechanic on the right side looking over, look, nod, boom, final twist, and the pistons did not come out, therefore they did not have to bleed the brakes, got into no trouble. Johansson didn't have that coordination right, and it cost them almost 5 laps.
Well, we've seen the number 1 car change, them also 18. We would suspect that the champion car would have to also, but I just checked in with the crew. They don't believe they have to. I then went to the number 2 crew. I said, you guys obviously need to change pads as well. They said, no, Tom Christensen's in the car. He's really easy on the brakes. Well, there's a problem here. Stefan just said there's nothing happening down here. They're going down inside. Typically, that's where the ECU box is. And no, they get the nod, and he's going to try it again.
Calvin,
there doesn't seem to be any life whatsoever, Greg.
They had a battery problem with this car earlier. I wonder if that may be revisiting. They actually loosened up the entire carbon floor of that car to get at something down there.
To get at the battery, I should imagine, underneath that supposed passenger seat.
Now here's the battle in the GT class for 2nd place. The GT runners all very close together. In fact, I believe these cars are on the same lap as the class leader, Emmanuel Collard. This is Christian Menzel and Jörg Mueller. Now these teams have been going at it like this all day long. The BMW seems to have it on speed. The Porsche has the advantage on fuel mileage, so the Porsche will take the lead on the stops. The BMW will then catch him, stop again. The Porsche will take the lead, and so on.
They are not doing nearly as well as the Porsches on fuel economy right now, to the tune of about 4 or 5 laps less on each tank of fuel, and to make up that time is really a daunting task, and they've been doing, to this point, they've been doing a great job of it.
There's the number 1 Audi, currently shown 2nd place in the hands of Ronaldo Capello in the car.
Capello brings it in. Reportedly, he's got a puncture. I can't see anything obvious on the car. I'm going around. Yes, now I do. It's the left rear is completely shredded, so he's got a puncture out on course. He's trying to get the car back to pit lane.
back live at Sebring, and we have more drama quickly to the pit lane and Calvin Fish.
Well, the leader is in, Bob, the number 2 machine driven by Pirro. I think that misfire that they had earlier in the race has reoccurred, but this time they've gone to the right side. Essentially what they do is change all 4 spark plug wires.
Well, Calvin, the number 1 car now is flashing across the start-finish line. It is now on the same lap as the number 2 car, so the number 1 car has unlapped itself, but has not yet taken the lead.
Here, as you see Pirro now making his way back out. He must be feeling just a bit jinxed, having been in the car each time that misfire cropped up.
So these guys are on the same lap, about 25 seconds apart, and they're just rotating back and forth depending on the pit stop sequence.
Here's the number 42, Jörg Müller in the cockpit.
Well, I think this will have really spoiled their chances for a class victory here. I mean, they absolutely were in contention, and unless these 2 Porsches now that are in front of this BMW run into some trouble, I think these guys are in trouble.
Amazing to note that these cars, last lap for the pursuing car, Tom Christensen, 2 seconds quicker than the lap just turned by this car in the hands of Ronaldo Capello.
Keep in mind, Christensen is on fresh tires. When this car was in for its last stop, kind of forcing his way by the Corvette there, not much choice. He needs to. When this car was in for its last stop, he did not change tires. So with a little bit more than an hour to go, about an hour and 18 minutes to go in this race, I would imagine this car is going to need another set of tires on it before we're done.
Now the Celine is back in.
This car was not in that long ago, guys.
I'm wondering, yeah.
That did not seem like a full stint to me.
Now the Corvette is in.
The gap to the second place Corvette around 22 seconds, almost 23 seconds right now. That noise you hear is the car on its speed limiter. That's why it sounds so bad coming down the pit lane.
I think the lead just changed twice in the pit lane.
Yeah.
Once as the Corvette came in and took it, then parked. And once again as the Celine went out and took it back.
If they fueled that Celine, that may well do away with its splash and dash that was needed. In other words, they may have had the splash and dash now instead of later.
Calvin Fish.
But Capello stays in as we suspected, and the crew now goes to work. They've got about 45 minutes or so to go in this one, and they're going to need every last drop of fuel there to make the distance. Now he's going to lose the lead to Christensen while he sits here in pit lane, but then Christensen should be pitting in about 3 laps approximately. So here we go. Crew goes to work. They're clear on the left side. Right side is done. Drop the car down. Hopefully he doesn't stall. He needs a clean getaway. Lots of revs. That seems if you baby this thing out, it hurts you. Lots of revs. He's on the rev limiter. He's out of here. Good stop.
Of course, one name we haven't seen among the Japanese men. Oh, we got a pit stop here.
And Christensen really,
And that was up.
I'll tell you, you would not roll much more speed through turn 17 and make it to the pit lane. So that gives you an idea of the commitment that Tom Christensen has right now.
And it should be fuel only. I think they're going to need most of this. They're not going to gamble too much. Got a little over 40 minutes. They typically go close to 50, so they're going to need most of the fuel load. I've got a feeling the revs are going to be hung really high when he gets released. Fuel is done. He's about to go. Oh, and he stalls it, guys. As we discussed, he stalls it momentarily, precious seconds, and he's heading back out. We're going to be looking, he stalls it again, but he's back underway, and we're looking for Capello. He's coming down the front straightaway, so if he gets a good clean run through one, these guys should be almost nose to tail.
Well, guys, we're hearing that Christensen may be getting a penalty for excessive pit lane speed on the pit entry. But the opportunity, there it is.
There it is.
Oh. So the opportunity to make a mistake really exists on the pit in and nowhere else, but he's done it.
That's exactly what he's done.
Now here's another look at what just happened.
So here it is. That is practically full speed through 17, but he pinches it down, and look at that. He's not gone to the brake pedal until just about the pit in. He's got about 35 minutes when he leaves the pit lane.
He's got to stop that car, though, and get it off the line without either cooking the clutch or stalling it.
Oh, he's got to stop the car. And you can see the official's quite mad.
Was that a stop? Was that a stop? Do you know?
He just barely. He did wave him out. And I must say, Bob, I think we have to give tremendous credit to Ronaldo Capello, who has done this final stint. The gap now back to Christensen, 22 seconds, and it has remained in that kind of 22 to 25 second range for the last 20 minutes or so.
Well, Sebring has become famed for its dramatic rises and falls. Tom Christensen, who appeared to have that historic third straight victory in the palm of his hand, really has no one to blame but himself, I guess. 1 lap to go for Ronaldo Capello, who last year drove in the shadow of his teammate Alan McNish, who went on to the 2000 Drivers' Championship in the LMP 900 category. But this could be Capello's season to shine. In the company of Michele Alboreto and Laurent Aiello, it appears that they will bring Audi its second straight victory here at Sebring.
Capello has slowed way down here, and I think he may be waiting for his teammate.
Time for the picture. The checkered flag waves. Capello is there, and he takes it with his teammate just behind him. Final margin of victory, a very finely judged, make it what, 5/10 of a second or so?
0.48 of a second.
Michele, just 1 year ago you saw victory slip away in the final couple of hours. This must be great.
Yeah, this time is a dream come true, because I was 2 times second, 1 time third here in Sebring, and achieve this result for me is very important for my career. So after Le Mans, I also win this race. It's very important.
Congratulations, awesome.
Thank you so much, also for you. It was a great job for you too.
Where were you watching, Michele?
Hey, Calvin did a good job.
He did a good job. I'm just wondering how Michele saw it. You just witnessed the closest finish in Sebring history. At about a half second, there's Franz Conrad, who was very non-committal all day long about his chances, but now a bright smile as the Saleen S7R collects his first win in the 12 hours. And in the GT category, Sasha Maassen will bring home the Porsche, and victory to Alex Job Racing, their second straight 1-2 in the American Le Mans Series season.
Oliver, what about that? Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. First time out with France here in the Saleen S7. It's amazing. You know, it's everybody's worked so hard over the last few months. Daryl Cousins, Marnie, all the boys back at the workshop, as well as all the team here. You know, it's been amazing. This whole week has just been fantastic. It's run so well.
Well, Lucas Luhr has won Sebring for the 2nd year in a row. Lucas, this must be a very tough weekend for you. Give me your feelings right now.
Well, right now I have really no words. You know, yesterday we had one of the best days you can have in Porsche. We lost a really good team member and really friend. So, and today we won. And I don't know what to say about it. It's just we, Sasha, myself, and Emmanuel, we said yesterday, now we have more reason to win and just give the victory to Bob.
Congratulations, and we really appreciate your thoughts, and our thoughts with Bob as well.
Thank you.
Amazing performance once again from Audi. Last year, a 1-2 with 2 factory cars. This year, a 1-2-3-4 with 2 factory and 2 privateer machines. Final margin of victory, 0.682 seconds, the closest ever for the overall win here at Sebring. In the GTS category, the margin 1 lap for the Saleen over the Corvette, and in GT, Sasha Maassen beat teammate Randy Pobst by 1 minute 21.583 seconds.